perspective is very different than a CPA or accountant who has just spent their life in the big company world. So the big company world is completely different than the small company world. It's the equivalent of Einstein's theory of relativity, which governs the world of the large, the planets, the universe, versus quantum mechanics, which is the theory that governs the world of the small, the atoms and the protons and the neutrons and the quarks and all that. And right now there's no formula that brings those two together in the world of physics. Well, it's very similar to that in the big company world versus the small company business world. The big company world is much more sophisticated. There's a lot more money to throw around. They can gain a lot of efficiency and synergy and productivity when they scale and when they interface. And they have to use bigger, more complicated systems in order to communicate. And no one at the big company level remembers anymore what the spark of life was that created that business and actually began to feed a family and create value that someone would pay for, that would then feed the family that originated the business. Nobody has a clue of what that is in the big company world. They're all trying to figure out what's going on in the big company world because it's so big. They have to have reporting and systems and processes just to be able to understand what's happening. So, and then so if that's all you've done is spent your time in that world, and what happens is most small business owners look to people in that world because they respect them, and the people in that world are very competent. But the problem is those people give all the wrong advice to the people who are in the small company world, because it's completely different. It's all about keeping things simple systems and processes, and focusing on what makes money. The actual donut making machine, the spark of life that creates value, that feeds a family, and then replicating it in the simplest way possible, in not using the same tactics that are used in the big company world. So a lot of my big company world tactics, I have learned how to dumb them down, and so that we can still get the same benefit of those tactics, but in a small company way, using small companies' systems, processes, as opposed to the big company way. So that is there is a huge difference between the two, and honestly, somebody that understands both worlds is very rare. Most people in the big company world never go to the small company world, and so they don't drop into that world. So they just don't understand it. So I see that is the number one problem I see with most people trying to help small business owners, is that the people trying to help them are using big company tactics and not small company tactics.